Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Mr. Rivas. Hope y'all had a good Easter. All right. Hope y'all had a good, restful 3 days of holiday. Every day kind of seems a little weird now. All right, but hopefully y'all had a good Easter and you're able to enjoy the day with your family and eat some good food. All right, so let's get back into it. Today we're just gonna go straight into the lesson. I'm not gonna go over any virus stuff today because the news. If you read too much about it and watch too much news, you'll go crazy. All right. So I'm just trying to find ways, I guess, to maybe limit social media. All right. Stop looking at all those virus memes and maybe, I don't know, read a book or watch some funny, dumb videos or just talk with friends or family or FaceTime your friends or family you haven't seen in a while. All right. I've been like watching way too much virus news lately, and it's like you can just go forever and ever just doing research on it and finding new stuff out about it. So today I'm just going to focus on the biology that we're going to be learning about. Okay. All right. So today we're going to be learning about symbiosis, which is, all right, the relationships between different types of organisms in nature. So we have millions of different animals on Earth, millions of different types of organisms, different species. Okay. And all these animals, all these different types of organisms, they have good relationships with other species and they have bad relationships with other species that might harm them. Okay. So today we're going to talk about the 5 different types of relationships that species or organisms can have in between each other. Okay. All right. So those five, oh, and sorry, just to be clear, these relationships can be between different species or the same species. So we'll see examples later on of how they can be between the same species, but most of these are going to be between different species. All right. Okay. So there's 5 different types of relationships that we're going to go over today. Parasitism. Let me get the little laser pointer here. All right. Parasitism, mutualism, commensalism, competition, and predation. All right, so these are the 5 different types of relationships we're going to be going over. So these 5 types of relationships can be found all across nature, all around the world. Okay, some of them you might even see in El Paso. Okay, so parasitism. All right, so the first one is parasitism. All right, there's a good face here and a bad face here. All right, smiley face, frowny face. This is a relationship where one organism benefits and the other one's being harmed. So usually this is some type of parasite that's stealing nutrients or blood or something from a host organism. Okay, so 2 examples of this are going to be mosquitoes and ticks. So both of these are going to latch onto your skin, all right, and they're going to suck out your blood and they get nutrients from your blood so that they can live. It's not going to try to kill you because they need you to be alive to steal your nutrients and live. So these are parasitism is where you see something stealing something from someone else. All right. So the mosquito is stealing blood from us. It's a parasite. We are the host. It needs us to survive. Okay. But it needs us to live also so that it can have a food source. And they also might use some type of parasites, as we're going to see here in a second, might use you as a space to live as well. All right, so let's talk about tapeworms. This one's pretty cool, kind of nasty. All right, so tapeworms are a type of parasite that can live in your intestines. And as you can see here, this is a tapeworm. I think they put a camera in this dude's intestines, all right? Actually, no, this is not I don't know what part of the body this camera's in, all right? Might be, I don't know where it is, honestly. But anyways, so the intestines, okay, can host these tapeworms, so they can grow very large. And so what they do is they attach themselves to the walls of your intestines. All right, on their mouth, you can't really see it close up, but on the mouth they have these little spike things, and those spikes cling on to the intestines and then they absorb your nutrients. So you can get these tapeworms from eating uncooked fish, uncooked meat, pork, chicken, beef. So if that animal had an infection and you did not cook the meat properly, then you might get the infection also. You might get the little baby worms or the eggs of the worms. All right. And it's very common in sushi. All right. So sushi has a lot of raw fish in it. So these infections can be passed on through eating sushi. So just be aware of that and make sure you cook your meat. So cool travel story of mine that has to do with parasites. I didn't get a parasite, thankfully, but I went to Japan in December. Really cool country, really beautiful nature. As you can see here and here, they have a lot of cool like virtual reality stuff that was like in a VR virtual reality museum. This jungle right here is Okinawa. That's where my grandpa fought in World War II. So I got to go see all that, some of the spots where he fought in the jungle and walk through the same places where he fought. My grandpa actually went to Bowie. I think I told you all that. He went to Bowie and he got drafted into World War II. Or he didn't get drafted. He volunteered to go fight in World War II. So it was pretty cool getting to go see where he fought when he was still a teenager. Another virtual reality museum right there. And then as you can see, I love Pokemon. So got to see my Pokemon stuff out there. Really cool country. I definitely want to go back when all this coronavirus stuff is over. But anyways, I went to a parasite museum and they had some really cool stuff there. At least I thought it was cool. Y'all might not. And so in this parasite museum, I got to see a bunch of really cool parasites, and I thought it was. I spent like 2 hours in there. Most people were in there for like 20 minutes, but I spent like 2 hours in there just taking pictures and trying to read all this stuff. Even though most of it was in Japanese, I would use Google Translate, take a picture of it, and then it would translate. But anyways, really cool thing right here is a heart, and it's a dog's heart, and inside that heart is heartworms. So these are the worms that grow inside of your dog's heart if they get a heartworm infection. This can happen to cats also. All right. And so the way that these infections happen is the mosquito will have the larvae, which are like kind of the baby heartworms, right? And then they'll suck the blood out of the dog, but they'll put some of those larvae in the dog. All right. And it'll take a few months for the baby worms to make it to the bloodstream of the dog. Once they reach the bloodstream, okay, they find their way to the heart and the lungs, and then they become adults once they're inside of the heart and lungs, and they can reproduce in there, and they can cause a lot of problems because they eat the tissue of the heart. Okay, they cause breathing problems because they can produce an immune response in the dogs that make the lungs inflame. So there's breathing problems, there's heartbeat problems. So the dog might be fatigued. Okay, he might have problems breathing. His poop might be a different color, and these heartworms are very serious problems in dogs and cats. So this is what it looks like when this is from a dog that died. They had to put him down. I think the dog died from heartworms, and they had to put him down. And they took the heart out, and those were all the worms that were growing inside the heart. So it can be pretty serious. It's very rare, but it can happen in humans. But there's only been, I think, like 80 cases or something like that in the past 60 years. Our immune system does a very good job of destroying them before they can become adults. But in dogs, that doesn't happen. So there's pills that your dogs can take to prevent this on a monthly or weekly basis or something like that. So if you're concerned about your dog, look into heartworm pills, and to prevent it, there's a lot of preventive measures that you can take. These are some other weird parasites I saw in the museum. I didn't really know what they were. This looks like some worms or nematodes growing inside of some type of organ of an animal. These looks like a little nematode, some type of nematode that grew inside of an insect. Pretty gnarly stuff. There's a turtle's head. Turtle had some type of parasite growing in its eyes. So they had to kill the turtle because the turtle was going to die anyway. So that's pretty hardcore. And there's a fish, and the fish has some type of parasitic worm or nematode living inside of it as well. It's growing in there. As you can see, that little coily thing that looks like spaghetti. That's the parasite, and it's growing inside of this fish. So it's pretty scary, pretty cool, I think, but weird at the same time. This was another fish, had some eggs of a parasite growing inside of it. So the parasite was laying eggs and living in there. All right. This is the stomach. Looks like the intestines. Okay. But I guess it's the stomach of a whale. All right. And this is another parasite called Anisaki simplex, apparently. And that little worm stuff is growing. The worm is growing inside of the intestines, probably the same way that the tapeworm works in the human. All right. And it's getting bigger and bigger, feeding off of the nutrients of the whale. All right, so I did get to see the tapeworm life cycle in the museum, which is pretty cool. So these tapeworms start off as eggs or larvae, baby worms. All right, when you eat the uncooked meat, all right, you're not going to eat the huge several foot long worm. Okay, you're going to either accidentally consume the eggs or the larvae, the baby ones. All right, so this tapeworm grew up to about 30 feet. There was a dude who ate sushi, and then a few months later he had to go to the bathroom, and when he was in the bathroom he noticed that this worm, the tapeworm's head, was coming out of his butt, and he was trying to poop it out, and he had to go to the doctor to get it taken out of him. And the doctor pulled out this entire 30-foot tapeworm inside of him. And I saw this in Japan. It's funny I saw this in Japan because I teach about this every year. This exact story about this dude who ate sushi and started to poop, and the tapeworm came out, and he had to go to the doctor, and it was like 30 feet long. And I told this story every year in class. But in this museum, this is the exact tapeworm from that story. So I got to see the tapeworm from that story in the museum, which I thought was really cool because I just found it randomly. I wasn't like looking for it. I just happened to find that tapeworm I talked about every year in class. So this is pretty cool. But yeah, that's the tapeworm. It's about 30 feet long. They had a little rope there that you could extend out to see how long it actually was in real life. It was really tall. It was like pretty much, I was a little bit taller than me if you stood next to it. I think it was just as tall as me, or a little bit taller than me. I don't really remember that well. But yeah, that's the little larvae form right there, the baby form. Then it grows into this giant thing by eating off of your nutrients. So, pretty scary stuff, pretty cool stuff. All right, so this is the life cycle of the tapeworm. So this is the way it works. So the cow or pork or whatever, some type of animal, they'll be eating off the grass. And if they eat off an area where there's poop from another animal that has the eggs of the tapeworm. So let's say an animal poops out the eggs, all right? If that cow eats from the same area that poop is, it could eat the eggs of the tapeworm, all right? And then the eggs, okay, go inside the cow, okay? They attach themselves to the intestines, they start growing bigger, and then those worms will lay eggs also, and those eggs will work their way to the muscle tissue of the cow. Whenever you eat beef, okay, you're eating the muscle tissue of the cow, all right? So if that cow is killed in a slaughterhouse for beef, okay, those eggs are gonna still be in that beef. And so if you buy that beef, all right, from the infected cow with the tapeworm eggs in it, and you don't cook it properly, or even like if you're just not careful with it, all right, you could get those tapeworm eggs, right? So you could get those tapeworm eggs, you eat the beef, you have the tapeworm larvae or the eggs inside of you, all right? And then this is the head of the tapeworm. It'll attach itself to the walls of your intestines, okay? These are the little spikes I was talking about earlier. It's kind of scary, all right? It looks like some crazy sci-fi stuff. These little spikes, they'll cling on and attach themselves, like hook themselves onto your intestines, right? And that's how they stay there, and then they absorb your nutrients and steal them from you. All right, and they grow, all right? They can become 30 feet long, as you saw in that dude's, and from that dude's tapeworm that he got taken out. And then you poop it out, all right? You might poop out some of the eggs with the tapeworm in it, and then this whole life cycle starts over. All right, so this is how they infect, and this is how their life cycle works, okay? So make sure you wash your hands and cook your meat. All right, if you go eat chicken and that chicken is still red on the inside, then it's not cooked properly. Now stay away. Sushi, raw fish is pretty popular stuff. Raw fish is commonly used in sushi, but you might want to be careful with that. I personally don't eat sushi, but I mean, just be very careful. All right, I would not recommend it. And then, yeah, this is not cooked, as you can see here. So make sure you cook your meat and wash your hands. All right, so you should already be washing your hands anyway, but this is, I know we're all scared of coronavirus and washing our hands and stuff, but this is just another reason why you should have already been washing your hands with soap and water. Like, this should be nothing new, washing your hands with soap and water before you eat. You shouldn't have started that before coronavirus. You should have already been washing your hands with soap and water before all this stuff happened. All right, so the next relationship is mutualism, 2 smiley faces, because both organisms are benefiting here. Both organisms exchange something to benefit each other. So, for example, humans and dogs, all right? Humans provide food, shelter, affection, love, all right, for the dog. And the dog can provide house protection for the human, all right? Self-defense and love also, friendship, companionship, all right? So they're mutually benefiting. So here we have a bee and we have a flower. So the bee is going to get nectar, okay, nutrition, food from the flower. And the flower, okay, is going to be able to get pollinated by the bee. So the bee is helping the flower reproduce. There's these little yellow things called pollen, right? They're going to stick to the bee, and the bee will take that pollen to another flower, and it'll help that flower reproduce, okay? So this is also mutualism because they're both benefiting, all right? Two smiley faces, both benefiting. So let's look at this other example. We have plover birds and crocodiles. So this crocodile is not going to eat the plover bird. The plover bird is actually going to clean the teeth of the crocodile. So the crocodile gets a free dentist. All right, it's going to clean the teeth. It's going to get the scrapes remained. All right, it's going to get the leftovers from the food that it just ate clean. All right, the bird also might eat some parasites in there, and the bird gets a free meal. And so they both benefit each other. All right, commensalism is the next one. This is a relationship with where one benefits and the other one is neutral. Neutral meaning it's not being harmed or benefiting. So we have a smiley face here and a muscle mental face here. So we have this whale, all right, and these little circles that you see on the outside of the whale, they're not parasites, they're barnacles. They're organisms that latch onto the whale. And so there's two reasons that these barnacles will latch on. One, when the whale's swimming through the water, all right, the barnacles can feed on like plankton and microorganisms that are much easier to get when they're on the outside of the whale, okay, and the whale's swimming through the water and they can pick up food as the whale goes through the ocean, all right, and then they also get a free ride. So the barnacles are benefiting, but the whale is not getting harmed and it's not benefiting, okay? The whale is not harmed by the barnacles latching onto it, they're just kind of there, all right? So this is commensalism. One's benefiting, the other one is neutral, okay? It's not being harmed or benefiting at all. All right, the next one's predation. So this is where one animal will eat the other one. It'll hunt and eat the other one, consume the entire thing. So we have a bear here eating some salmon, and we have a shark here, great white shark eating a seal, poor little seal about to get eaten. All right, so this is, all right, these are examples of predation. So that'd be like you going in the forest and eating or hunting down like 20 wild deer and eating them, okay? One animal's hunting and consuming the other one. This is different than parasitism because in parasitism, one animal needs the one organism needs the other one as a host and steals from it, but it needs to keep that host alive in order to keep stealing from it. Whereas in predation, you're just killing the entire thing and eating it, and you're ending its life. Competition, the last relationship. So in competition, we have different types of animals competing with each other for resources. That can be food, water, shelter, or even mates. So as we see here, the lions and the hyenas in the Sahara, all right, they're going to have similar prey, such as wildebeest, all right, and the antelope. So they're going to compete for those types of prey. They don't like each other at all. And then here we have these rams, and ooh, I need to sneeze. Bless me. All right, so we have these rams, and they're going to essentially fight, all right, for the rights to mate with the females in the herd or pack, or I don't know what a group of rams is called. I should look that up, but the rams are going to hit each other, okay, until eventually one gives up, or sometimes even one is killed, and the winner, the dominant one, will have the mating rights and mate with the females and be able to reproduce, okay, whereas the other one will not. Funny thing or interesting thing, sometimes these horns, okay, will grow so much. There's actually a few cases where these horns, all right, they're meant for self-defense and for these battles where they fight for the mating rights to mate with the females in the herd. But sometimes these horns will actually grow too much, all right, and sometimes they'll even go inside and kill the male ram. All right, so the horn will, you can actually look it up on Google, it's kind of crazy. The horn will grow, and then grow inside the skull and actually kill the ram slowly. So that's pretty hardcore. Doesn't happen all the time, but does happen sometimes. All right, so that's our, really cool example here of competition. So this red fox was trying to hunt down a rabbit and caught the rabbit. And then this eagle swooped down and tried to steal the rabbit from the fox. And so the eagle thought the rabbit was just going to let go, but the fox actually hung on to the rabbit with his mouth and wouldn't let go and was like fighting like crazy for the rabbit because that was its food. And the eagle was trying to steal it after the fox did all the hard work and hunted it. And so the eagle took the fox up about 20 feet in the air. Then the fox won, and the eagle dropped the rabbit, and so the fox and the rabbit fell to the ground, and then the fox was able to eat its food. But really good photo of competition right here because they're both competing for the same food source. And eagle was being a jerk trying to steal the fox's food, but the fox held on for its dear life and won. All right, so there's some questions on Schoology. Message me if you have any questions about the video or if you have any questions about the work. It's pretty straightforward. There's 10 example problems, and you have to tell me which type of relationship it is and tell me why. That's pretty much it. All right, y'all. That's it for today. Okay. Have a good day, and I will see you guys later. Okay. Stay safe and wash your hands. See here. Did that stop recording?